Good morning, guys. Fitpocalypse here. Gonna be putting a scope on a bolt rifle given to me by a friend. Thank you very much. Their Drew dog. It's gonna get some use out of it. I've already got my muzzle device set up for a suppressor. Just got this Vortex Venom 5 to 25 in. Some precision rings for it. Again, making do with what I got. Was able to finagle and make some deals out, especially with where I work behind a gun counter. And I'm gonna show you guys the process of putting a scope on and bore sighting with literally nothing but your bare hands and the tools provided for said rings. Guys, making it simple and using what I have and making do with what I got. That's what we're about. I'll see you guys in a minute. So again, to caveat, guys, I'm making do with what I have. I don't have much. I'm a blue-collar dad working a blue-collar job. I'm not sponsored by anybody. I'm using Vortex for the sake of, I like Vortex. They're affordable for what you get. This here is a Savage 110 Trail Hunter, chambered in 30-06. Again, as I was saying in the intro, good friend of mine, Drew Dog, just being good, loving Christian brother of mine, donated this to me, help out with the cause, try to help out with the family, get some meat on the table, hopefully next hunting season. Just thank you, Drew Dog. Really appreciate it. I will hopefully get out to the range with you. We'll take it out, get some good shots downrange. So overall, guys, I work at a gun counter and I have all the fancy stuff, you know, bubbles, levels, to bore sight, range in, mount down, proper torque, everything. Not what this channel's about. This channel's about making do with what you got. So what I've got is said rings for said scope. And this is a chunky one, 34mm tube, 56mm bell right on the end. So I got some 34mm rings. I went a little bit higher than medium. These are apparently a 1.1 inch to the center. It's vital to know this information because when you do go to do a dope card, which dope stands for data on prior engagement, it's pretty much ballistic information based on your prior usage, and you know, you keep a record. That's why I tell you guys, record everything you're doing at the range when it comes to rifles. But it's to help you develop said dope card so you know at what range you need to dial or hold over to properly engage said target at distance. Biggest one right now is to get your rings prepped. So I'm gonna unscrew my tops here and I'm gonna unscrew my bases, just get everything ready to go, and I'll show you how it looks. So guys, I know it's kind of tedious, but all the prep work you can do makes it worth it in the long run. Unscrewing 4 screws on this. Probably isn't entertaining to see, but you kind of get the idea. Take the top off of the mount there, and then we're gonna unscrew the bottom. Again, all these tools are provided by Vortex inside of their scope ring packages. So hopefully that'll get you. Again, I don't want these ones all the way off like that. I just want just enough to get some separation right there to mount to it. Okay, I'm gonna do the other one. I'll be right back with you guys. All right, guys, so again, I don't have a workbench. I don't have anything fancy to level anything off. Guys, I don't even have a garage right now. I'm just saying, this is literally my kitchen table. But what I'm gonna do is, now that I've got both rings prepped, bases are screwed in tight already, I'm gonna remove my bolt just for the sake of A, safety, and B, I'm gonna actually do what's called a bore sight, where literally I'm looking down my bore at something about 200 meters just away. Once I get my scope put on it, I'm gonna zero it right up to that same thing. Again, trying not to touch it all as I get that bore sighted, but that's later in the video. So I wanna make sure I have these set to fit on the scope. they do not fit. Because it is too, well, don't worry guys, that's what this channel is about. Improvising, adapting to it, and overcoming our problems to make things work. So, if you guys saw, these bases here, this knob right here is for a Picatinny rail, meaning that it's the standard AR-15 tops, the full length rail. It slides in those inserts and it locks itself in place based on the width of the spacers there. Let me go grab my AR and I'll show you. So this right here, guys, on the top is your 1913 rail, or Picatinny as it's also identified as. Obviously you see my Strike Eagle on this one here, fits just fine. And as you saw, it did not work for this little Savage on this side here. Find a spot to put this. But we did make it work with the magic of grinding. A Dremel tool, I inherited this from my grandfather, may he rest in peace. It's a really, really useful tool. I'm just saying, I've used this thing more than any drill, more than any power tool, more than any hammer. Good old fashioned Dremel roto tool. Awesome, love it. Anyway, I'll show you guys exactly what I did with this roto tool. So this base has what's called the Weaver bases, meaning they're really, really short like that. So what I did is I just opened them up a bit, because if you can look here, see if I can show you this. Oh, where's the other one? Because I took the full base off. If you look here, it doesn't quite fit inside of that notch. What I did is I just opened that notch up a bit, got them to fit, and it's nice and snug now. So here we are, back in business. This is what we're about. So let me just re-prep this, get my screw bases in a little bit more. I'm gonna screw it in. This isn't even the right torque screw. I'm gonna find the correct torque screw real quick. We'll get started rocking and rolling. Well, found the tool. I got my dogs outside right now, so I'm also trying to keep an eye on them because we still got pets to take care of. Let them go run around, play. Looks like they're chewing on a stick. Anyway, so here we are. We're gonna get started. I'm gonna mount these on the base. I'm gonna get it just snug for right now, okay? So, another thing just to kind of add on to with the bases in regards to mounting with the rings is I want to make sure that I'm pushed as far forward towards the muzzle as I can be, all right? The other part to that too, I want just snug right now, which is why I'm using it like this. Just snug, so it stays in place. I'm a right-handed shooter, guys. My weapons are all ejecting to the right, so my bolt's on the right-hand side. What I want to do is I also want to make sure all my screws right here are on the left-hand side. Just that way they're not getting dirty, damaged. They're not in the way of anything, especially if you have like bigger bolts on your mounts or on your rings. You just want to kind of keep things up and out of the way. It's less stuff on that side to interfere with the round ejecting, things in that nature. So I always do it on the offhand side, i.e. my left. So here I am. Gosh, that was so good. Not to toot my own horn, but like I said, guys, that Dremel tool and taking your time with a lot of stuff. Make sure it's pushed all the way forward. Suck it down. Makes a difference. I'll show you guys a whole lot more drilling and grinding that I've done with my AR parts, things of that nature. Guys, making things work, kind of rednecking it overall is what we're about. My AR, for example, I've got a full open gas block on it. wide open. I was getting a lot of gas in my eye. Did some milling, did some drilling, used some JB weld, kind of finished and finessed out the charging handle. I've got a side busting charging handle without costing me any extra money. Anyway, once you get your bases on with the rings set up to it, and again, I'm not torqued down tight. I'm just gonna be just enough to make sure I'm clear. And you guys can see that gap right there. I'm a little low. I'm not touching my barrel though. If you need to get bigger rings, get bigger rings. And then I'm gonna check my length of pull overall. Can go forward a little bit more. A little more forward. Right there. So again, this is about 3 inches, 2.5 inches. Depends on you as the shooter, how close you need to be. All right, so from this point here, guys, I don't have a level. I don't have bubbles. I don't have anything uberly fancy. However, what I do have is my eyeball. What I can do is I can make sure it, as I shoulder it, is straight up and down as I'm shouldering. Right there is gonna be it. So, what I'm then gonna do from here, holding everything in place, I'm gonna lock in those bases about an extra 1/4 of a turn past finger tight, okay? You want about, they say 35 inch-pounds on these overall. These precision rings, they're advertising that they want you to suck this thing down to 45 to 55 inch-pounds. There we go. So I'm actually gonna go for these ones about 1/2 a turn past finger tight on everything, okay? The other reason too, you don't wanna go too tight on the rings themselves, because you actually can crush the scope, okay? So let me go ahead and get these set up on the ring tops, and we'll go from there, okay? So as I was saying before, we're gonna get this just set up, so that way the scope isn't gonna fall off while we make sure she's level as possible, okay? Again, what I was doing before was checking my length of pull and checking my eye relief overall. When it comes to these rings too, you want to kind of do them like you would change a tire. You want to crisscross like a big X and little by little tighten them up. So if you guys look here, now that I've got it tightened down just enough, I can still move it left and right on that axis, on that plane, okay? So at this point, I'm not tight enough to really suck it down. I'm making sure my eye relief is still good. I can go forward a little bit and just kind of wiggle it forward. Gas does this mar up your scope a little bit. If you're too tight, yes, it will absolutely scratch it up. If not, if you look here, it's just fine. So I'm gonna check my length of pull again. Really suck that thing up. All right, I'm gonna stand for this one as if I was hunting. There we go. That looks good. And now what I'm gonna do from here too is I'm gonna make sure that as I'm pulling on it, my scope is vertical. Use the lower bar, use the bottom part of that reticle. If it's just down straight in line with the buttstock, it's pretty much level at that point, guys. And mine looks pretty good. And I'm paranoid about this kind of stuff because I love long range shooting. And that's good for me. Wow, really good for me actually. So now at this point, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tighten little by little each side, each corner. So I went from top right to bottom left to top left to bottom right. I'm gonna do that all the way through, just enough pressure overall. And again, guys, I'm not accurate. I'm not a machine. I'm making do with what I got. So once I'm at finger tight, I'm literally gonna go about an 1/8 to a 1/5 of a turn to suck everything down as tight as it needs to go overall. And again, I am crisscrossing which screws I'm tightening up. All right. Just make sure that one was a little bit. Again, guys, literally, I'm using my thumb and my fingertip, and I'm just kind of use that finger pressure, just this here, to make sure that it's up to torque. It's not an exact science, but you're not going to over tighten things on accident. I'm just going to go through all 8 of my screws. Again, crisscross pattern, guys, okay? There it is. Sounds good. Get a better angle on that one. Come on. There we go. That one needed tightening. That one needed tightening. Okay. So again, to confirm, I've got it all torqued down. My field of view looks good. I look like it's vertical. I'm good to go. Okay? Like I said, you can do the fancy bubble thing if you have it. You can use torque wrenches if you have it. And I encourage that. I can't afford it. So, again, down here, they were asking for about 45, 55 inch-pounds. I'm going from here to about there. Maybe a wee bit more, okay? From there to there, past finger tight. And again, finger tight's just literally the long ways on this, and just feeling it catch, okay? For the top here, I'm holding it like this inside the screw, and I'm using my finger pressure just to get it about that much, guys. Not much, 1/8, 1/5, not quite a 1/4, okay? Other than that, looks good to go. Now the hard part here is trying to bore sight off of looking through the barrel at something at distance, which I'm looking at that's a good 200 meters from where I'm standing. And again, just looking at posts, understanding, okay, there's a football field length, there's another football field length. I zero at about 200 meters. Other guys zero at 1. There's different reasons to do both, either or. I personally, this is what I do. So I'll show you guys via this. So again, guys, an actual bore sight, you're literally using the view of the bore. And I know this is kind of terrible. I'm working on an iPhone, guys. It's not the greatest. But I'm gonna look down the bore. I'm gonna find an object way out there. Come on, phone. Come on, phone. There we go. I'm gonna find an object way out there that I'm looking at through my bore, and I'm gonna line it up via my scope way out there. See if I can show you guys. My dog's kind of being a pain in the butt right now. There we go. Just like this. So I'm gonna find something out there. Probably those posts out there. I'm gonna look through my bore to make sure that it's looking right at it. I'm gonna look through my scope to make sure I'm looking right at it. And that's gonna be, again, a general bore sight. So I'm looking right at a flag. About, guys, this isn't gonna be accurate, and then not until you start sending rounds down range. I'm looking at a flag on top of a pole, about 200 meters out. I'm gonna come up here. Look like I could go up in elevation a little bit. Right there. Looks like I can go. Right in the middle of the hole, through my bore, is that flag. It looks like it's a slight bit to the right, so I'm gonna go so I'm looking right at, I have that flag in my bullseye right now, and I have that flag in the very middle of my barrel, and the dog threw up. Puppies, guys, they're hard work, but seeing as how the big boy is as good as he is, it's worth it. I know it is. Amiha. Anyway, I have in my bore that flag about 200 meters out, and I'm literally looking around, like making that circle with the barrel all the way down. That flag is in the dead center middle. I come up, and even at this distance, it's a little tiny hole inside of my scope, but I can see right in the middle is that flag in the bullseye. Again, there's a reason why it's called bore sighting. You're taking the bore and sighting your optic to it. Is this the most scientific way of doing this? Not at all, guys, okay? What I'm gonna do now that I've got a general bore sight, I'm also not gonna touch my, I'm not gonna re-zero my scope dials, okay? Reason being is I'm gonna, again, go out to the range, nice calm day, as ideal conditions as I can, send rounds down there and get a good zero at exactly 200 meters. This is just to get me on paper, guys. This is just to get me to hit something at that distance. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put the bore, or the bolt back in. And this scope does come with a throw lever, okay? Let me grab that for you. So as I was saying, this comes with a throw lever, okay? If I can get it out of the plastic. There we go. Comes with a throw lever, comes with an Allen key to zero up my dials after I get it actually zeroed at the range. It's also gonna come with a zero stop. You put that inside of the top scope there for your elevation, and once you go all the way back, it'll actually set itself about 5 clicks past zero if you run MRAD. It's about a whole MOA plus a quarter. Again, 5 clicks on MOA, but it's designed like this. Just be a little bar stop. So when I come back on it, it just boop, stops me right at the zero and a little past. Not much past. It's only gonna throw at 100 meters. My shot's off maybe 3 centimeters, 4 centimeters, if even. So, which again, point aim, point impact, it should be fine. I'm also paranoid, and I always watch my dials on here when they're zeroed when I'm out in the field. A constant repetition thing, the Army ingrained in me. But aside from the zero stop, which I'm not gonna install yet until after I've gone to the range, so I'm gonna leave this in the box for now. It does come also with a sunshade bell. Some people don't like it, honestly, guys. I like having that mitigated difference between, or that lack of refraction off the front scope. Animals see it, people see it, whatever you're doing, it's what I use, it's what I like. So I'm gonna put that on. So for me, guys, I like the sundial, or the sunshade on the scope. Yeah, it's just brain damage I have if I can get it on. I know it makes it look giant. Again, just to kind of seal it up. Makes it look big off the rifle. Honestly, like I said, I like them. I'm gonna use them. Again, personal preference, guys. That's all it's about, okay? The other thing that I like having is my throw levers. So, with this being the way it's built, a lot of the throw lever stuff, if I can find the tool I just had on. Here we go. Anyway, let me show you this in a second. So the one thing I did want to show you guys is the install of the throw lever. So, like most throw levers, what most people do is they'll actually take their dial, set it right in the middle, and then they're gonna set their throw level to be completely vertical, which again, that's how you wanna do them. You wanna have it to where all the way on one side's max, all the way on one side's minimum, and you can kind of synchronize it from there. Vortex has a nice little like screw right here on the side. I don't know if you guys can see it, but that little screw right there usually indicates kind of where that bottom is gonna be. So if I set that screw all the way in line with the rifle, that's gonna be my mid-level, and I wanna kinda install this straight up and down, as you see right there. However, the problem is if I suck it down, which I will show you briefly, let me just get this snug. So if I have it sucked down, if I come all the way over and I'm at max, most of the times, you see how that's gonna interfere with my bolt. So what I wanna do is I actually wanna change that around where I'm not in line with it. Some people might have a hink about it. I personally don't. So what I'm gonna do is at max power, which this is a 5 to 25, so I'm all the way over, I'm actually gonna have it about right there. So I'm slightly off from center. And then I'm gonna suck this down nice and tight. Boop. So I'm out of the way when I'm throwing my lever up and over, but I can bring this all the way down to minimum, and I'm still got plenty of room to engage that. It's low rather than being straight off to the side like it would be if it was centered, but this is gonna allow me to throw over. I'm at max, now I'm at about 8, now I'm at about 5, all the way at the minimum. So I can still use my rifle. If I'm aimed here and I'm at 5, send my shots, whole 9 yards, but I can also throw over, and as soon as I feel that stop, I'm at max, I can take those accurate shots at distance, but still cycle my bolt. Now, if you look at what I have on my AR, I'm centered up because there's no bolt to work off of an AR. Again, I make it work with what I got, and that's what I like to do. I like throw levers regardless. So if I'm slightly off, again, train and practice over time, so that way I know exactly where I'm at when I throw said lever. Hope it helps you out. Again, nothing fancy, guys. This is making do with what I got. The bases and the rings weren't talking to each other. Guys, I grind a lot of things. I'll be doing a video later in regards to how I made my own little gas busting charging handle out of just a mil-spec charge handle, guys. Nothing fancy. JB weld if I had it, which I did. My roto tool, drilling out a channel. I'll show you guys that later. Bore sighting, just based off of looking down the bore and lining it up with the scope. Again, I'm not bubble level, I'm not accurately bubble level, but for me, and as paranoid as I am in regards to a lot of this stuff, I am level. I bring it up and there it is, guys. Again, the human eyeball is very accurate with a lot of things. So, as always, train hard, stay fit, make do with what you can, with what you got, and we'll get through the apocalypse together. It's not just about doing it yourself. It's about having your family involved, having pets involved if you want to keep them around. It's about building that community. Again, I have to give the hugest, most heartfelt thank you and as much love as I can to Drew, helping me out, getting me this rifle. Guys, it's building a community is what's going to get us through a lot of things. It's just that love for your fellow human, for your fellow man, holding to what we believe in, which I am a Christian. I'm unabashedly a Christian. So is he and his whole family. Thank you again so much, Drew. It means a lot to me. Again, using aliases to protect their identities for now. If they're like, oh yeah, tell everyone who I am. I'm not gonna do that. Thank you again, Drew. Much love for you, much love for your family. I know the kids enjoy your kids, and we'll have to get together sometime, start sending rounds downrange with this big bad boy. Again, hope this helps you guys out. Subscribe, like if you can. Just make do with what you got. There's gonna be more content coming out, and I hope you enjoy. Train hard, stay fit, out.